These are the plaintiffs, Ellen and Michael. Ellen says her cat peed on her furniture, and she hired the defendant to reupholster 4 of her chairs. He said he'd strip them down to bare wood to get rid of the smell and told her they would be like brand new. Oh, when she received them, however, they still stunk to high heaven. He didn't do what he said he would do, and she wants her $2,899.61 returned. That's why they're suing. This is the defendant, David Oliverio. He says he spent 10 months stripping the chairs and reupholstering them. They were odor-free when he delivered them, and he's quite frankly shocked he's being sued here today. He did a fantastic job for the plaintiffs, has no idea what their problem is because the chairs were odor-free when he finished with them, and he owes this woman nothing. He's accused of doing stinky work. The defendant has filed a countersuing for $448.68, the cost of fabric.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says her cat peed on her furniture. She hired the defendant to reupholster. Still stinks, but the defendant says he spent 10 months and it smells fine. It's the case of you're in big trouble now.
Thank you, Douglas. Ellen and Michael, you've asked to be referred to only as Ellen and Michael. You are suing Columbia Mattress and Upholstering Incorporated, represented here by David Oliverio, yes, for $2,899.61 that you want returned to you because his upholstering did not achieve the objective, which was to remove the cat smell, the smell of cat urine. Okay, and you have a counterclaim against them for $448.68 for the cost of fabric. Let me go to you first. What happened?
So we had these wonderful living room chairs that were antiques. They belonged to Ellen's grandparents. We had them redone many years ago. And one of our cats had a bladder infection, urinated on 4 of the chairs. So we sought to have them completely redone, the fabric and the stuffing, such that the smell would be removed.
Did you who was the one who was speaking with him?
Ellen.
Okay, Ellen, did you specifically tell him that was why you wanted them redone?
When I went into the store, the first thing I said was, we have 4 chairs that we would like to have reupholstered because one of our cats had had a bladder infection and
actually
urinated
told the whole
on
story.
them.
Okay.
Yes.
And that they kind of were taking on a pungent odor.
I did not mention that they smelled, but you could not miss it. And in my email correspondence with the defendant, he says that he did notice that there was a smell on at least one of the chairs.
Okay, well, when you said one of our cats had a bladder infection and was urinated and has urinated on all the chairs, were you referring to stains or were you referring to smell?
I was referring to odor.
Okay. Were there stains on it?
No.
Okay.
There was no other reason to have them reupholstered. They were in good condition otherwise.
Okay, so you bring it to him, and the charge, you pick out a fabric. Was he also going to, do you have a contract or an invoice with him for the work?
Yes, I have a paid invoice with me.
May I see it?
Yes.
So was he going to do work to the wood as well, or just to the, or just reupholster them?
He didn't say.
No, yeah, you hand it to him. He doesn't.
That's quite it.
He didn't say exactly what he would do.
Thank you,
And the fabric is noted on the invoice, Your Honor.
Yes, it is. It's already charged on the invoice. All right, so the work how long did it take for the work to get done?
About 10 months from our initial conversation.
Had you ever talked to him about how long he would take to have the work done?
No.
That sounds like a long time, right?
It was a long time, but I was all right with it.
Okay, because you had other chairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Or no company. Okay.
No company.
All right. So so the chairs are finally done, and he delivers them?
He delivered them to our garage as I had requested. I came home that day, got out of the car, and I smelled cat urine. I approached the chairs, and the odor got stronger, and I realized that all 4 chairs still smelled, including the 2.
How did he get into your garage?
It's an electronic garage door opener.
Right. Had you left it?
He's able to push a button.
He's able to push a button outside. All right. Are the cats in the garage?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that the cats saw my favorite chair and came and peed on it to
The
kind of...
cats cannot get into
So they
the
had
garage.
not been at the chairs
The
yet?
door was locked between that and the alarm was on.
Okay, so there were no cats in the garage?
No.
Okay, he didn't leave the garage door open and then the stray cats of the neighborhood say, oh, that's Sparky's favorite chair, I'm going...
No.
Okay, all right. So go on.
I emailed the defendant.
A very polite email where you say, oh, I feel so bad because we've had such a good relationship, but they smell. Yeah. And what does he respond?
He gave me some suggestions that he would help me with, such as putting spray on it. He said that he had sprayed them himself. He said he put in all new padding. But I took one of the chairs to our original upholsterer, who I thought had gone out of business.
Jeez, you need to try harder. Because he hadn't, right? Okay,
and he opened the chair in my presence, and he showed me this picture. These are the layers. He showed me the old burlap, which is crumbling, and the old horsehair, old padding and new padding. And I also have a physical sample of that if she would like to see it.
I would. Is there a smell to the physical sample?
No, I purposely took it out of the tops because I didn't want to bring in anything with
Why? That's
cat excrement.
That's actually what I wanted to. I wanted to smell the evidence. That's
Can you get cat urine out of furniture?
I never had a cat, but I don't think you would be able to.
What if you reupholster though? Can you get it out?
If it's still the same furniture, I don't think you'd be able to get it out.
So if it's there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
What's going on?
Yes, Judge. I picked up the chairs from her.
Why did it take you 10 months?
Well, because we took them all apart and we had them air out. We treated them, and plus we had such a backlog of work. We let them air out like we normally do, and I called Elaine. I said, or emailed her. I said that blue chair had a bad smell of urine on it, and I'm highly allergic to cats. So, we obviously took that apart, treated it, sprayed it for months and months.
Okay, but according to the new upholsterer and these pictures, there's a lot of old stuff that's still
Correct.
there. You didn't rip out all the, you didn't replace all that?
Normally with the integrity of old furniture, that burlap you see, that's the surrounding area. We took out layers on top, which we've been doing since we started this company, and we put new layers on top. The majority of the cat smell was in that cushion.
Apparently not. It was the first thing they called you about. The first thing she did was email. Were you happy with how they looked?
Yes,
they were beautiful.
Fine.
In fact, in her email, she says they're beautiful.
Yes.
But, I mean, so, I can understand if you want to keep, because it's an antique and you want to touch it as little as possible, but that's something you have to discuss with her when the reason she brings it in is because the thing stinks. And if the thing stinks, there's only one solution, and that's take out all of the stuffing that might have stink in it. And that's because, why? Because then you find yourself here. Exactly what ended up happening.
We did it to the best of our knowledge to get this smelling normal.
Well, good. Then I guess you learned something here, because the best of what your knowledge wasn't good enough because it stunk. And she had to take it somewhere else, and they're having to pay again. So that's not okay. Tell me about your counterclaim, though. You have a counterclaim for $448.68, but you already charged them in the invoice that they paid in full. You already charged them in the invoice for fabric, so why are you counterclaiming?
Good question.
Did you not realize they had paid for it? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, on your counterclaim, 0 on their claim against you. Is it the amount is correct, $2,899.61 that they paid for reupholstering? My verdict is for the plaintiffs in the amount of $2,899.61. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So this was a relatively simple case, Mr. Olivero. How do you feel about that? I'm amazed at your countersuit. You got a little shocked there.
Yeah.
You didn't realize, huh?
Right. Well, I'm not happy with the verdict.
Well,
I
come
learned a
on.
lot.
It took you 10 months, and you did a pretty bad job.
Did a good job.
No.
It smelled perfect when I went out of the factory.
Well, she smelled it. I just couldn't imagine why you wouldn't replace all the stuffing to begin with.
We never replace all the stuffing in any job we do. I'm being honest with you.
Really?
And we got all the stuffing out that was urinated on.
All right, sir. Well, obviously, they won the case.
Thank you.
You lost. Thank you very much. Here come our plaintiffs, Ellen and Michael. Folks, sorry you had to come to court. Are you satisfied with the outcome?
Very satisfied.
And hopefully your chairs will be nice and you'll approve of them when you get them next time, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You must sign some documents. Thank you, sir. Harvey, it's your turn.
Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. Even if the defendant did a really good job, if he promised that he could get the smell out, tough luck, he is responsible. Okay, now I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is Doug. Why don't you deliver that famous line?
Well, as I've so often said on this show, I'm Doug Llewellyn. Thanks for joining us and reminding you, if you're involved in a dispute with another party and you can't work it out, don't take the law in your own hands. You take them to court.